welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Amy Tsung, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really does help my channel out. I've acquired quite a few different camera bags throughout the years, but that's okay because I use them for different scenarios. Today's video is going to be what's in my camera bag, photography/work edition. Now this video is going to be part of a series of what's in my camera bag because I use different camera bags for different things. So for photography, I may choose one. For vlogging, I may choose another. Travel, another, so on and so forth. So this is part one. So let's get into today's video. What's in my camera bag? Photography edition. First up, let's talk about which bag I use. I actually switch between two bags. The first one is the Nomatic McKinnon 25 liter everyday bag. I've had this bag for quite a few years now, and it's served me well. I actually really love it, and I think I'm just used to it. This is one of the bags that I use when I go out on a paid photography shoot. So on the back here, I do have one of these lens cleaner. This is made by Spuds. It's actually really convenient because it just stores it right inside of its own little pouch. So I generally choose to use the Peter McKinnon bag when I know the weather isn't gonna be great, or I'm going to kind of like a dusty or dirtier location, because the bag is all black and I've had it longer. But along with the bag, I am pairing it with the camera cube. My main camera is going to be my Sony a7 IV, and I pair that with the Sony 85mm f1.8 lens. I do mostly family and portrait photography, so I feel like this lens gives off some of the best results. And then I have the Peak Design clutch attached to the side here. I'm not sure how I feel about this yet. I only got it in December, and I don't know if I like it or not yet, but I'm gonna use it a little more. So you might be wondering why I have this divider so far out. Sometimes I attach the 24-70 G Master 2 lens to it, and I need enough room. I will bring this lens just because it's very versatile and it's got some pretty good reach, and the images that come out of it are amazing. Next up, I will bring this awesome battery pack. It holds 2 extra Sony batteries, and there's also a slot up here to hold memory cards. It charges by USB-C, but you might notice that there's an output. That's because this is also a battery bank and it can charge your phone. I also always bring my Peak Design Pro pad along with the Capture 3 clip. Sometimes if I'm not using the pad, I'll just attach the clip to the strap on my camera bag. Then I have this nifty little EDC pouch that I always carry. There's just some tools in here. I have some business cards, little Swiss Army knife, little lens cleaner, and this magnetic flashlight. And in the front of this pouch, I have a micro little notebook in case I ever have to jot anything down. Never know when that might come in handy. And then my favorite strap, the Peak Design leash. I've had this leash for quite some time now, and I love it. I usually have this one attached to my second camera body, which I'm filming on right here. It's the Sony a7C Mark II, and I usually have the Tamron 35mm f2.8 lens attached to it, so I always do bring 2 cameras with me. It just makes it easier where I don't have to keep switching lenses. And then I bring a Sony front and rear cap, just in case. And depending on the type of shoot that I'm going on, if I'm doing an indoor shoot where I have to bring a speed light, I will bring some of my MagMod accessories. This is the grid, and I'll generally grab this light diffuser. And I'll also bring my speed light. So let me show you how this goes into the bag now. So I have the camera bag here, and I just take the cube and drop it right in. On this side of my bag, I usually carry a little tube that has some Tylenol and Advil in it. And then these just have extra Peak Design parts. And of course an extra lens cloth. So that's how I have the inside of the bag organized. You're probably wondering where I put my second camera body. Well, I put it right here on the top. I just lay it right in here, and there's perfect room for it. There's actually even extra room where I can throw this light diffuser right here, and then also my speed light right in here. In here, you can never have enough lens cloth, and then I have a bunch more business cards to hand out. And I always carry some sparkles or glitter. You never know when it can come in handy. So that's how I pack my Nomatic Peter McKinnon 25 liter everyday bag. Let's talk about the second bag, that I use, and that is the Shimoda Urban Explorer 25 liter. I really want to love this bag, and I do love it. The only problem I have with it is it does not stand up on its own, but I love everything else about it. So let's talk about how I pack this bag. It's generally the same equipment. My Sony a7 IV goes in here, along with my battery bank, EDC pouch, Sony G Master 24-70 Mark II lens, Peak Design Pro Pad, Peak Design leash, Sony body cap and rear lens cap. And again, if I'm going on a indoor shoot where I have to bring my speed light, Magmod grid, and I will bring the Tamron lens hood along with a extra microfiber towel. Again, this one's great because it again folds into itself. And I also bring the Sony a7C Mark II that I'm filming on right now. And attached to that camera would be the Tamron 35mm f2.8. But every once in a while, I will bring my Sony 20mm f1.8 lens, which I would just stick right here. And I do feel everything fits in this bag much better. I still have room to put things here. And I love how this bag opens sideways instead of this way. 2 grab handles for easy carrying and moving around. On this bag, I do have my Peak Design capture clip here. And again, same thing. I store the Sony a7C Mark II camera right in here. And on this side of the bag, I keep my small ray camera tool, which I also put in the other bag. Floss, some tissues, and I usually do keep business cards in here as well. And every once in a while, I do have to bring a tripod with me, and if I do, it is this one right here. This is the Ulanzi & Coleman 0Y carbon fiber travel tripod. It's really light. It folds down pretty much to the size of a water bottle, and it served me well. So this is the tripod that I do grab. And you're probably wondering why I would actually choose to bring the Peter McKinnon bag over the Shimoda bag when the weather is not nice out, especially since the Shimoda bag has a rainfly built in, but it's mainly because that bag is still really new and the color's lighter. I don't want to get it dirty. And the Peter McKinnon bag stands up on its own. It may change, that's just what I'm doing right now. But let me show you what my second camera body looks like. So this is the Sony a7C Mark II. Attached to it, I usually have the Tamron 35mm f2.8 lens. And then I use the Polar Pro Defender lens cap. And the reasoning for that is because I do have a filter attached to the front of it. And this is the Short Stash Polar Pro Everyday filter. I sometimes use it for portrait shoots, sometimes I don't, but it makes it easier to cover the lens with this lens cap. And then I do have the Peak Design clips attached to the side here. And on my camera, I have the Ulanzi and Falcam camera cage. This is f38, f22, and f50 compatible on both the bottom and the side. So when I hook it to the tripod, it's great that way and this way. So it makes shooting vertical content really easy too. And it also gives my hand, it's like a more beefy hand grip. I really like this camera cage. Still gives me access to the battery door too. I made a whole video on that. I'll make sure I put a card up here if you want to check that out. And I'll make sure I drop links in the description down below if you're interested in any of these products. So these are the 2 different bags that I use for my setups when I'm going out on a paid photography shoot. Stay tuned for part 2 of this series, which will be What's in My Camera Bag Vlog Edition. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.